Na'eem Offord is now predicted to flip from Ohio State to Auburn, and Demarcus Riddick, he's talking his talk, and I'm here for it.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. We're going to talk about Hugh Freeze's presser. Nothing crazy, previewing the Iron Bowl, but Demarcus Riddick said some pretty interesting stuff. The freshman impressive linebacker. He was one of the several players made available to media today to talk about the Iron Bowl. Made some pretty big claims, both about Ryan Williams and the Iron Bowl itself. But we'll start things off with Na'eem Offord. On three, Steve Wiltfong, who's one of the biggest names in recruiting, put in a crystal ball earlier, or On Three calls them RPMs. He's logged a prediction for Auburn to flip Na'eem Offord, the number one player in the state, one of the best defensive backs in all of high school football, to flip from Ohio State to Auburn. And this is something that's been kind of brewing over the last few weeks. And Offord is a kid who's been to Auburn now multiple times this season, but he wanted to see him win. He wants to play for a winner, and you can't fault him for that. I said on the show yesterday or 2 days ago that the win Saturday night is going to go a long way with several guys who aren't committed to Auburn. The main two, Na'eem Offord and Osmond Croma. And when you look at what Na'eem Offord has done from a recruiting standpoint nationally, Oregon's making a hard push for him. So is Alabama. Seems like they've trailed off a little bit. But obviously, Ohio State has been the guy with him for so long. He's been committed there for a hot minute. But all of a sudden, you see Auburn not really going anywhere, staying on him. And the family dynamics and Offord's recruitment have been interesting. It sounds like he and his I think it's his grandmother, are very close. And obviously his father is involved in the decision as well. But it seems like Auburn is making a strong push, so much so that some folks that I talked to within the program thinks that Saturday night's win may have done it. Couple that with Wiltfong now saying, hey, I'm putting in a prediction for Offord to flip from Ohio State to Auburn. That's huge. That's huge. That's huge. And if that happens, it pretty much all does solidify a top 5 class for Auburn. I know there was some chatter going into the Texas A&M game about keeping Deuce Knight and keeping, Jared Smith. It seems like everything is really lining up exactly where it needs to be for the Auburn Tigers. Na'eem Offord is a special player, a cornerback who will start day one. He's so good, there might be a trickle-down effect when it comes to like guys entering the portal, because he will take plays away, key snaps away from guys who have been starters. But to me, like if you're looking at Auburn's cornerback situation, if Na'eem Offord ends up in this class, and you have the opportunity, similar to what you're doing this year with starting Kayan Lee and Jay Crawford, a true sophomore and a true freshman, I think you're doing the same thing next year. I think you're starting Na'eem Offord. I think you're starting Jay Crawford. And that's a tandem that can grow together. And the depth was already kind of there in the future when you look at this cornerback room. It'd be a big deal. I don't think there's any question how big of a deal that would be. So yeah, 5-star across the board, an electric player. We'll see what happens, but the fact of the matter is that this is something that now, if Steve Wiltfong is willing to put his name on it, he must believe in it. He must have gotten some really, really good info. And for Auburn to not back off of this guy and say, no, we're going to continue to make a habit of getting the number one player in the state of Alabama now for multiple years in a row. It was Cam Coleman last year. You take it. The staff is figuring it out. What it needs to do in that recruitment. So I think that's absolutely huge. In just a moment, Demarcus Riddick made some claims about Ryan Williams, made some claims about the Iron Bowl. I think some people are going to dislike it. I love it. I absolutely love it. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Of course, FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5. You get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on NFL all in one place, as well as college football, as well as college basketball over the next few nights at Maui. Get in on the action there. Once again, $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits. That's over at FanDuel.com. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Game Time's the best place to buy tickets. Doesn't matter what it's for. Game Time's the best place to buy tickets for football, basketball, baseball. Hey, if you're getting more and more excited about this Iron Bowl, and you're like, I wasn't going to go, but I think I'm going to. If you're considering it all, just pull up the Game Time app. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege when you make your account. You'll get $20 off whenever you do choose to buy tickets. But head over and just see what it's looking like. What a ticket at Bryant-Denny Stadium this weekend looks like for Auburn and Alabama. Can't hurt to check. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. What time is it? It's game time. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen, or today maybe your second listen if you heard this morning's show. If you didn't, go check that out. And of course, Daryl and I will be live tonight after Auburn takes on Iowa State for Auburn's first game in the Maui Invitational. So Johnny Congdon, he's a Bama guy for ABC 3340. He was the first to kind of tweet out some of the quotes from Demarcus Riddick's media availability today. One of the several players made available, but he kind of pulled some of the quotes, and I mean they're true quotes. It's not like he's making anything up, but there was some extra context with this. He said Ryan Williams ain't no big time player to me, and he did say that. It wasn't the full quote, but he did say that. Trying to find, I thought I had the full quote pulled up. I'm not going to waste my time, or I'm not going to waste y'all's time on that. But he did say that, like, I don't know, it almost sounded personal. It almost sounded a little personal, if I'm being honest with you, because I think this class for a long time thought Ryan Williams was going to be a part of their class. Then he kind of changed things at the last second, so much so to the point where he decommitted from Alabama. I think Auburn really felt like they were in good footing with Ryan Williams. But, he also credited Ryan Williams for saying how electric and dynamic of a player he is, like the sentence right before this. So, this quote is accurate. It's just not the full quote, but that's fine. That's fine. I was asked about the Iron Bowl, and he talked about how, he's not going to lose to Bama while I'm here. Love the attitude. I love all of that. There was also one where he said, he was asked about Jalen Milroe. He said he is a good quarterback. He's fast, but I mean, he's not faster than me. He will not get out of that box this week. But he continued to say, like, it's something we've got to figure out going into this game. We're going to have to, he's going to need help from his teammates. And it's like some of this stuff got pulled and really zoomed in on. And I saw those quotes and I'm like, what? And so I went and watched the whole thing and I don't know. It doesn't matter, right? Like, if Bama needed bulletin board material for the Iron Bowl, I guess they got it with this. I guess. But if you need bulletin board material for the Iron Bowl, I think you have other issues there. I mean, if I'm Jalen Milroe and I need Demarcus Riddick talking, saying that like he's faster than him or whatever to fire him up, I don't know what to tell you, because like turn on any Bama show right now, they are bashing the heck out of their quarterback. But when another player does it, it's going to change the dynamic. I don't know. It's a weird argument. I'm not saying it's not valid, because all that matters here is how the Alabama team receives it. But here's my spin on this. If Demarcus Riddick comes up and talks all this smack and he says, he's not going to lose to Bama while he's here and all that stuff, what if he pulls it off? Or what if Jalen Milroe is shut down in the run game and, Demarcus Riddick and the rest of the Auburn defense keeps him in the pocket consistently and limits him, and Auburn wins this game on Saturday? This becomes the coldest thing ever. You talk about a freeze warning. What Demarcus Riddick could pull off could be insane. It could be absolutely insane. So I don't really think bulletin board material matters in the Iron Bowl. This isn't a game where you need to like find any extra motivation. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Talk the smack. Talk all of it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And if Demarcus Riddick can back it up, I hope he does. I hope he does. As far as Hugh Freeze's comments yesterday, nothing really crazy from that. He was asked about like his conversation and his relationship with Peyton Thorne. And, they talked about like a lot of their discussions are like mental toughness and mental perseverance. Okay, I guess that's fine. Was asked about like the belief in his team's chances to win, and of course that's going to be a big thing. Talked about how much like the freshmen have improved this year and how great Saturday was, and that's truthfully kind of everything that was said publicly by Hugh Freeze at his media availability earlier in the day. So nothing to report much on there. I thought the most interesting stuff from today was obviously the RPM prediction by Wilt Fong for Offord to flip from Ohio State to Auburn, arguably the most important there for sure. And then, Demarcus Riddick's comments to media on Tuesday or on Monday, excuse me. Fascinating stuff, like truly, truly fascinating stuff. Can't wait to see. Can't wait to see what happens from that. So yeah, if you missed this morning show, go and check it out. And then be ready for after the Auburn basketball game tonight. Come hang out with me and Daryl. We'll be live right after the game. It'll be right here. So be sure you're subscribed, like the video, and of course the audio will drop right after as well if you want to check that out tomorrow morning, as well as tomorrow morning's normal Locked on Auburn. Ton of shows will drop this week. Sure, it's a holiday week. That's not slowing us down, baby. That's not slowing us down at all. Like the video, please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.